about to start. There are 6 red lights. This is Assetto Corsa at its very finest here. Vallelunga is the home track of the developers. Let's get ourselves ready. Let's get ourselves racing then. The 30 minutes worth of action. It's a good start off the front there by one Mr. Ara Ravindra. But look at Cavadia. He's immediately alongside Smuts and Kuti trying to find a way through as they dive through turn number 2 and look for the next chance to try and go out there and attack and get exactly what's there. Smuts is up into 3rd. Ravindra is there still in the lead, but look at Smuts on the brakes. They've got to be careful here. It's banked through. He can take it a little bit quicker than you need to. It is Cavadia who's lost out the most. He's down into 4th position right now, and Smuts immediately attacking here. Another long straight coming up towards turn 7 and the Campagnano.
Turn 7 was a very, very just one. Steve Smuts on the offensive at the Ocean. Kadaria tries to defend right now. He's starting at number 2 now to drop down to number 4. But looking at the way out of Ravindra so far, he's kept it very tight against Steve Smuts, trying to take on the position for the number 10 versus Amit Kuti. Amit Kuti somehow holds him back for a little bit again. Now he's defended well. Now he's going to come at him one more time again. Little more somewhere between turn number 9 and 10. That's the slowest part of the track. Are we going to see any more close-in action when they come down to the home straight?
That's going to be the question. Raj Tula's had a really good start. He's up into 5th position after a really good run of things. Kuti did run wide at turn 7, but now they head into this really technical section. There is Tula. Oh, he's trying to attack Cavadia here and really show that he's up for a race. Oh, there's contact there, right down there at the hairpin, at the Tornatino. And it's 2 drivers in a world of trouble. Munjal Sabla, I think, has just about escaped through, but up on 2 wheels they went. That was a heavy bit of contact for a slow corner.
Well, we got to be looking at that for one more time as Munjal Sabla, car number position number 8 comes around. This is one of those places where Rishabh Banerjee moved up to position number 6. So he's up to 5 position. You can see the leaderboard having quite a lot of name changes as Reynard Samir Vale goes up to number 10. Neerav Jain joins in at number 11. Race leader out of Ravindra on your screen at the moment, and he's almost got about 5 car lengths over Amit Kuti and Steve Smuts.
Yes, but crucially, they have the draft. They are within a range and they can now attack. And look at this behind as well. That's Rishabh Banerjee trying to fight for 6th place against Raj Tula. So it's all happening at the moment for the lead for 5th place. Tula just about was able to hold it there through turn number 6 out on circuit and on the brakes, trying to make something happen, get it all turned in. Tula is just about holding on. Banerjee's trying to take the long road around to try and make this one happen. Here we go on the brakes. Is this one going to work? It's back up the hill again. You're going to have to try and attack. And look at that for an up and under. Outbroke himself, did Raj Tula. Rishabh Banerjee says thank you very much.
Well, if you basically hit the extreme of the track, you're going to get onto the little bit of the snow end, and you would need a snow scooter. So they would possibly love to stick very much on the track. Do not go to the track limit because one, you really lose a lot of time, a lot of grip again. And I think Raj Tula has possibly learned a lesson there. Rishabh Banerjee up to number 5. Aru Ravindra now getting challenged, but not Amit Kuti alone, also by Steve Smuts.
Exactly, these top 3 are trying to work things out. Steve Smuts is just staying patient there in 3rd position. Kuti, the championship leader, looking to attack his main rival here out on circuit. We start lap 3 of this event, and Kuti at 1:39.7 sets the fastest lap of the race. Most of that thanks in part to the tow he gets on this run to turn 4, the first of the Shimini corners, and then the run to 7 and the Campagnano. And a look to the inside. He left the move very late there on Ravindra. There's contact between them. Ravindra's forced out then into the long runoff area. He'll come back in 3rd position, but of course the stewards will maybe have a look at that. And Kuti immediately redressing the position then through turn number 6. He didn't like that one. Steve Smuts gets a freebie to the race lead.
Well, it's Christmas time already for Steve Smuts. He's just out of that season and now he's already down to the race leader. Amit Kuti clearly realized that if he was not going to give back the position again, he was definitely going to the stewards there. So Aru Ravindra now at number 2, Amit Kuti at number 3. That was a little needless and maybe over-aggressive by Amit Kuti. He possibly had the charge on him. You should have possibly waited for a little more stretch on the home straight or somewhere on the straight line.
Absolutely there. So Amit Kuti in 3rd position, trying to get as much as he can out of it. In terms of drivers who have made good progress here over the course of this race so far. Ryan Samravel's jumped up into 10th place at the moment. He's done quite well off the start of this one as everyone is just forming up into these small packs. There's Lalicha back in 9th position. He's having a pretty good drive as well at this stage. And there's all the blue cars here in the middle, like Navneet Kumar, Munjal Savla, all there at this stage. And in 5th position is Rishab Banerjee, but Amit Kuti down now in 3rd position. He's really got to attack here because Ravindra is going to immediately try and attack here Steve Smuts and try and gain that place. They've allowed Kathadia back in, who could maybe find himself in the draft and find himself getting closer, but the key to this is Ara Ravindra is trying to attack and Steve Smuts must play the defensive card today.
Steve Smuts hasn't led a race for a very long time now. Now he's already got the opportunity given to him. All he's got to do is defend and possibly bunch up Arun Ravindra and Amit Kuti. Then they possibly fight with each other. That could play into his advantage. He's got to possibly make sure Amit Kuti comes in very close range there. But at the moment, Steve Smuts has just about 2 car lengths. It can come down to 1 as they come down to the slowest part of the track in turn 9 to all the way up to turn 11.
Exactly, so we'll see now if Steve Smuts can just keep himself in position. Oftan Kathadia there in 4th place, definitely worth keeping in mind, who does slightly miss his braking point there and does run slightly wide under braking entry, but that's such a tough corner. Turn number 8 out on track, and there is Rishab in 5th place trying to make sure that things are working out for him at this stage. But this is going to be a very awkward race because you get into this final sector, it's very, very technical, and this is where you start wondering, okay, how much grip do I have in a car, which needs to have a lot in the early stages. You look at Raj Tooley, takes a very wide entry because he wants to maximise the exits as much as possible here to try and make sure he's not under pressure coming in towards that final corner of Roma and a run through Curva Grande to the Shiramis.
Well, he could definitely work on that, a little exit there, but Raj Tooley was definitely cautious as you see Navneet Kumar now sensing a slight opportunity, hoping that he may be able to give him a little space for him to attack. Steve Smuts fastest lap 1 minute 39.720. It's a good battle that we're seeing between the blue cars again. Navneet Kumar tries to line up Raj Tooley. One little shake of the wrist there as he tries to line him up. Does he get a little slipstream there as they come down to the right hander? Very quickly, will he be able to dive inside? Yes, he does. And has he done it well? Has he got the lead ahead of him? Yes, he has. Well done, Navneet Kumar. Raj Tooley will be looking at his rear view mirrors and say he possibly gave too much space there.
Oh, he gave more than way too much space. He gave himself a whole acre to try and work that one down the inside. He was absolutely caught out. He'll dive down the inside. Contact between them as they hit the Campagnano. And just like that, Tula's going to have to let him have that back again. And diving down the inside, that is Munjal Sabla trying to get on through. Very much, just about, they are managing to get through that. The top 2 still, Smuts and Ravindra out there on circuit. Smuts trying to pull away with his penchant for fastest laps, but we had a chance to speak with Ara Ravindra earlier on in the week. Here's what he had to say.
I started in 2012. I got to know about Rayo Racing from a newspaper article. I went to their website and I contacted Rayo, and he guided me as to what needs to be done next. So he said I should start with karting. So I started testing with the team a bit. It was a very, very, very interesting experience for me because it was completely new. I didn't even know this thing, racing existed in India. So that's how I started, and then I did my first karting championship in 2013. That was a learning experience. And then the next year I did it seriously, bought a new kart, proper equipment, and I finished 3rd.
The chase is very much on for Ara Ravindra. If you took a little look at that right-hand mirror that he is definitely having a little glance in every single time he goes on one of those straights, you would have seen 1 red car and 1 blue car, 1 Amit Kuti, championship leader, and 1 Oshan Kathadia, and that was a mistake there by 1 Mr. Ara Ravindra, just pushing ever so slightly wide there through the Campagnano at turn number 7, which allows Smuts more room to break away right now through the very tight turn number 8 out on circuit, and now looking to attack a little bit further forward here in this race. Solomon, this is about minimising mistakes around a track which really today is in the I don't want to make mistakes mood. So what's the question now? Steve Smart starts to pull away. Ravindra, I think, is looking too much backwards at Amit Kuti more rather than forwards at Steve Smart.
Well, Amit Puri now trying to limit the damage right now. He knows he's the championship leader, 16 points lead. He knows he doesn't need to do anything stupid here because Oshan Kotadia now seems to be lapping as fast as him. Now, Steve Smart, take a bow so far. He's done so well. He's got what the race lead he wanted to for a very long time now. Arun Ravindra stays at number 2. But then I had a feeling that the entire grid was being very cautious because they learned their lesson. The moment they touched track limit, they were almost going on ice. So they got to be a little bit careful as they hit the snow there and they lose a little bit of grip there.
Absolutely, they have to be very careful. This is not the place today where you want to be going off. Normally, if it's grass, you're able to maybe recover it. Gravel might be a little bit easier. When it's snow like this and a fine coating of snow, it's always very difficult. Here's the battle for 12th, 13th, 14th. Garvit Loda here is going to be trying to hold back Siddharth Satyan and Swaraj Yadav, who's making good progress in 14th position. On the brakes, these three go here into the first of the Shamini corners here. Shamini 1 followed very swiftly by Shamini 2. Wide goes Swaraj Yadav in the background. He'll drop off the back of this little battle as they go forward. But really here, these positions, this is a big fight that they're on right now here, Solomon. They're fighting for that final remaining place for the reverse.
You know, I always believe that when Swaraj Yadav almost had Siddharth for that little overtaking maneuver there, one mistake goes wide and he's already dropping back 3 car lengths. That little mistake, that little tweaks that you're able to do on that steering there, make sure that how much the difference is between the intent to overtake and the intent to get that corner right. And I think there was multiple apexes when we were talking about in turn number 10 and 11, because that's where we are able to see as many number of cars slowing down and you're almost coming so closer to the car in front.
Look at that, Yadav trying to go around the outside, trying to pick this move up, and I'm not sure if he's been able to get that one or not, and the answer to that is no. He's not been able to, but wide again goes Siddharth Satyan, who is incredibly under pressure at this stage, heading to the Roma corner, the final corner out on track, lunge down the inside of the final corner, but not close enough to make that happen just yet. You've got a big long run to turn 4 coming off of this front stretch, so you've got opportunities, you've got time on the horizon, but crucially, there are so many battles to be coming up. We're going to step aside for one moment. We'll be back with more after this.
Power is, you only understand it when you feel it, you know?
Volkswagen.
Yadav still can't find a way through here in 14th position on the road here, the 4th weekend of the championship here at Vallelunga. Here it's another trip to an Italian track, and of course when it comes to these Italian circuits, they are always very technical, very difficult, and have an amazing flow to them as a race track. That's 14th, 13th and 12th position at the moment on the road as we have a snow day here around this place. I'm Jake Sperry, that's Solomon Paras alongside me. Satyan running wide, but really not enough room to capitalise here as they go through turn number 9. You wait for 11 to come up. You try and set up that run through 10. And look at this, it's going to have to be the long road hard travelled here at turn number 11 to make this work here and try and get it done. Maybe look at the Tornatino, it's going to be good, but look at Amit Kuti all of a sudden here in 3rd position, Solomon. He's all over the back of one Mr. Aravindra.
And Amit Puri kind of realizes that he possibly needs to get a move on as Steve Smart sets in another fastest lap. So to possibly fastest lap had to always gone to Steve Smart. So he is turning out to be uncatchable at the moment. Arun Ravindra will drop down at number 3. So Amit Puri moves up to number 2. So then the championship leader is in number 2. Can he go on to take on the fight on Steve Smart? He possibly can.
Well, the gap has really opened up, and all of that came from a mistake at turn 3. Ravindra pushing a little bit too far wide. He'll still fight back here on the outside of the Campagnano. He dives incredibly deep. In fact, he's gone too deep into the corner, and that's going to allow Amit Kuti the chance to just scamper away with 2nd position and now put even more daylight here after this round of the championship This, of course, being the 7th round that we've had so far, and able to just skip away with things at the moment. Ravindra now down in 3rd position, needs to start thinking about how he attacks the second half of the race. He started this one today, Solomon, on pole position. We look back at Tej Patel in 10th place, looking to attack here for 9th position overall. How is this one going to fare?
You know, we've already lost the count of number of cars who've gone out on the corners, gone out on the camper, gone out on the curb there. So it's that little mistake, that little tweak on that corner. Now, Aaron Rabindra will possibly look back and say he possibly had the whole shot. He should have just hung in there. And now Amit Kuti now ahead of him, which also means if he finishes on this race, he will go further ahead in the championship table. But Steve Smart is still the man to beat at the moment.
Absolutely, Jamie Shaw is in 17th position. Looks like there's a bit of contact there as they went on through. Shaw up into 16th then and managing just enough. But look at this, 4 vehicles all in the same space of real estate here. Shaw now back down into 17th position. All of them here, Solomon, are fighting out really, really hard for these places and trying to make something of it happen here as Rohit Rout there in 18th place tries to keep in the same space to try and go out there and attack. And it's tough because every single corner is a case for 2 wide battling as Shaw wants into 16.
And when you have a 4-way race to every corner, it's an opportunity for all 4 of them. You got to make a fight of the positions wherever you are in the race. Now, as we see Jamie Shaw coming so close, one of them goes off the track for a moment. He's going to lose not 1 but 2 positions again. That little get greedy there. Now Jamie Shaw is going to look back and now has to make sure he tries and get Abhimanyu S. Menon moves up to position number 18. There's a little bit jostling.
Just that bit of contact there allows Abhimanyu to move up forward. We also need to have a little look at Aditya Pawar up there in 15th position. He's the driver just ahead of these drivers at this stage. We had an opportunity to talk to him earlier on in the week and see how he was getting along with things.
A young kid was cars, and then I got really fond of driving. Even on the road, I started driving at a very early age. So it was just driving that got me into motorsport. And as I started to drive cars, then I wanted to drive them fast. Then I needed to find a place for it. So that is how I introduced myself to motorsport.
Well, there is Pawar in 15th, looking to try and move up then into 14th position here in this one, with the race rapidly reaching its conclusion. 18 minutes of the 30 have already been chalked down in the books, but Amit Kuti has been unable to get away. Ravindra's closing in, as is in 4th place Oshan Kathadia. That's going to be a very interesting point here. Oshan tries to get through, he runs slightly wide though in the background through the Campagne Nano, and now Amit Kuti is once more having to play defensively, Solomon. I don't think he's got the overall pace to pull away from Ravindra right now, but what he does have at this stage is enough to just be annoying and defend. That's all he needs to do right now. He knows Steve Smuts is too far gone.
Well, now they've just got to manage the damage here because they know the race win is out. But I was just wondering, maybe it's my observation there, cars trying to go wide into corners haven't found that much purchase there. Again, Arun Ravindra will have a possible chance again. There was a slight room there again when Amit Kuti decided to go a little wider there into that corner. Arun Ravindra was not able to dive in very good. Maybe there's a question of grip. They're not being able to enjoy. Oshan Kathadia stays at number 4.
That was a dive to the inside then. Ravindra's trying every which way. He tried the final corner, trying to make this happen. Now it's about drive here on this run. He may have just sacrificed all of his run here to turn 4. This is a small flick left of 1. You now need all of the courage in your car through turn number 2 here to make it all work out. And Kathadia really getting a good drive then through 2 and 3. And Ravindra trying to look for the inside. There's just no room for Kathadia to go. He'll try and sneak one up the inside here and pick one off on Ravindra here through turn 5, the second of the Shamini corners. And he's going to get it here through turn 6. He moves up into 3rd. And now he can use the draft to attack here Amit Kuti for 2nd if he so wants.
Well, Amit Kuti is now was looking for Arun Ravindra. He gets Oshan Kathadia trying to take on him for the fight for the 2nd. Oshan Kathadia goes wide again. Now will Arun Ravindra come in? Okay, contact.
Not like that. Cathadia trying to shut the door as much as he possibly can. He gets turned for his troubles and trying to rejoin the circuit. I think he's only got himself to blame for that one. He drops now back into 5th position, which allows Richard Banerjee to move up, I believe, now into 4th place. Amit Kuti now in 2nd has crucially got some daylight after that contact. He's got a full 2.5 seconds to go out there and play with for the final 10 minutes.
So all he can do is now is consolidate now, because Arun Ravindra will have a lot of catching up to do. But Rishabh Banerjee, remember when we started out, he was somewhere between 9 and 10. Now, thanks to Ocean Kataria, has moved up to position number 5. Now, he's really fighting out. Steve Smart, your race leader, and also the fastest man on track. 10 minutes to go.
Absolutely, he traditionally is the fastest man on track, and in a Volkswagen, he may be unmatched for 1 lap pace. Going to step aside for one more time here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with the final 10 minutes after this.
Power. You only understand it when you feel it, you know? And when you do, trust me, you'll know why we live for these nights.
Volkswagen.
Steve Smuts then race lead, and what he gets so often, the fastest lap of the race so far. The South African absolutely flying at this stage and looking to try and prove that he is going to be top of the pops here today as he looks to try and move on forward. Kuti 2nd, Ravindra 3rd, and Rishabh Banerjee in 4th position here in this race. A race which has been all about minimising the mistakes, as the top 2 in the championship have been hammer and tongs at each other at the expense of pretty much everything else in this race. 14th, 13th and 12th still going on, but Garvit Loader has dropped back. Swaraj Yadav finds himself now in the 12th position, fighting it out with Aditya Pawar for 13th. We have lost a couple of drivers to technical issues here and there, and one of them was up really high in the championship, Lalit Shabak, Solomon, who is now out of the race.
Now, we were looking at even Rishabh Banerjee starting somewhere outside the top 10 and now into number 4, courtesy Ushan Kutadia. So then, one thing about sim racing and when you are on this track, lesser the mistake, the better the result. And if you take wider turns, you're not going to get as much purchase on the track because it is snow, it don't have the grip. Swaraj Yadav has found that out earlier on in the race when he went multiple times as well. Fighting it out for the fight between him and Aditya Pawar for the 12th and the 13th.
Well, we're seeing this here. This is the fight for the reverse as they go on forward and look to attack. They've got themselves 7 3/4 minutes to work it out, plus the end of the final lap of the race. A little heavy over the anti-cut curb there goes Swaraj Yadav. That's going to compromise putting the power down here on the exit. And look at this, hard to the pit wall. Oh no! Both into the pit wall, bang! Up and over goes one driver there in all sorts of trouble. Garvit Loader will scamper on into 12th place, but that was always going to end in tears. They were fighting so close to the pit wall. It was like 2010 Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello, except it ended in tears and disaster.
And it was a 360 flip in the air when the car 4 wheels in the air. For a moment, he really needed to get back, and I hope he's got back onto the track at the moment. We'll confirm that for you in just a bit as Raj Tula versus Red and Summer Ware for the fight for the 9th and 10 continues. It's still not over. It's hammer time. We still got a little over 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Action coming your way as folks are trying to make it count at the time that they have.
And here's someone who is trying to make it happen. It's Oshan Kathadia here. He's in 5th position. He's chasing down Rishabh Banerjee in 4th position, who is having a season best run at this stage in position number 4. And he knows better than anybody else does, Rishabh. He's just got to stay calm and just drive these final, what will be 4 laps, I do believe, at this stage. Potentially 5 to get himself over the line and hopefully safe with 4th place. But it's going to be a tall order. Ara Ravindra is in 3rd. He's trying to chase down Amit Kuti, but I wonder if it's too little too late at this point in time. He's about 1.5 seconds back here, trying to really get to the championship leader, but he's just not able to do so. Kuti has got himself just enough of a buffer margin.
So when we are talking about Rishabh Banerjee, 13th on the championship table, Raj Tola on the 12th on the championship, difference of 13 points. Now he will narrow down the lead on the championship leaders table at the point. Rishabh Banerjee will be looking to consolidate further. Steve Smuts on his screen. He's had a fabulous race so far. This is what we wanted. We wanted Steve Smuts to show his form, and he's done that, exactly that. 5 minutes, 30 seconds to go.
He's definitely got to drive almost perfectly between now and the end of the season, does Steve Smuts, if he has any hope of picking up championship points after Monza proved to be a huge issue. He's having to race through a VPN to make sure that he stays in the server and he doesn't run into any troubles at the moment. Someone we do need to keep an eye out on, though, is Nirav Jain, who is in this race, who is maybe a lot down the order compared to maybe a lot of other drivers are in potentially their 19th position, having a big moment off the track. We had a chance to talk to him right now, and every point matters for him down in that 19th place.
Honestly, I think the first race of the 2019, no, sorry, the last race of the 2019 F1 season, Abu Dhabi, I think. Yeah, that's when I watched my first race with Jeet. So we were watching the race and like the level of detail, it's not, so I watch a lot of football, right? And the commentary is honestly pretty hilarious. But there was the first time I saw a sport where, the commentary was so in depth and how every single thing affected or mattered in how the performance of the car would be in the race, and the amount of factors that come into play. That really, the technicalities really, interested me, and that's when the spirit came.
Well, there he is, position number 19, heading through the back end of the section. One more corner to go to start another lap for him at this stage. Knows that this has been a race where he's just needed to consolidate place, and he's got himself the gaps that he needs to go through. Raghav Buddharaja, though, has had a really, really bad time of things today. He's down in 15th position, got involved in an incident on lap 1, which dropped him miles down the order, but a chance to get past Abhimanyu, who has gone straight to Narnia and back, and just like that, you pick up a freebie, and it's those sorts of overtakes, Solomon, that you just cash in the back every time as if it's a royalty check.
So when you're talking about Raghav, he's number 5 on the championship table. So with this race finish, he may not even finish in the point. So he knows there's a lot lost with this race. But Jamie Shaw, keeping it on, is there, fighting for the 15th and the 16th position along with Raghav Buddharaja. I was just wondering, so we got a little over 3 minutes to go. I do believe when the racers come back for tomorrow's race, they will be a little more prepared in terms of what lines to take in, because they were a little defensive, very, very apprehensive in corner 9 to 11. We hope that we can get them a little more stronger racing line there.
Well, it's very tough, that section, to go and make moves in, especially with the nature of those sorts of corners where you have to be as aggressive as you possibly can. It's going to be a very tall order here to find those big overtakes, but with just a couple of laps to go, it's Steve Smuts in control at the moment. He heads through turn 7 and looks to try and attack here this middle sector to last sector of the lap. You can see the car really sit down under braking into the corners here and really nose through a couple of these corners. There's the championship leader in second. Great damage limitation to Steve Smuts, but crucially, driver behind gaining points on.
Amit Kuti needs to make sure that he stays ahead of Arun Ravindra all through the weekend. And when he heads down to round 5, he just needs to make sure he brings the car home. So I think that's the strategy at the point of time. I was also looking down at Tej Patel, now at number 8. Raj Dulal drops down at number 10. A lot of movement between the 15 to the 19. We'll get to those positions in just a moment. This is going to be a very, very interesting race for tomorrow for sure, because the drivers are well prepared with what has happened on the track today. They will definitely have a different strategy tomorrow.
Absolutely they will, and it looks like we will be going around potentially for one more lap after this. It's going to be very close when they hit the start-finish line, but crucially, Rishabh Banerjee has fallen back now into 5th place. Roshan Katadia has got through into 4th. That's keeping Katadia's championship hopes, because he's losing a lot of points here to Steve Smuts, Solomon.
Well, Oshan Kotaria will stay at number 4 in the championship table, because Steve Smart will definitely possibly consolidate at number 3. Now, Munjal Savla stays at number 6 at the moment. Not much of a moment. It's been a technical, little lonely race now. Now getting a further move on as we are just under a minute to go. Still, anything can happen. Welcome to Sim Racing.
Exactly, Sim Racing has a lot here. Navneet Kumar will be hoping he's got one more lap after this so he can actually go out there and attack, but it all depends on the race leader Steve Smuts, who heads himself into the final sector right now, going through turn number 11 out on track. This here is the Semaforo heading into the Tornatino here at turn number 12. This really devilishly tight hairpin down to first gear and trying to get all of the turn in on the steering wheel before these next lefts and rights, the S's 13 and 14 come into play, and that final corner comes up. He's going to run out of time for one more lap, but he won't mind that at all. He will cash the check that he writes, because he knows once again he walked away when Kuti and Ravindra decided they wanted to play pinball. He will find himself the jackpot. Steve Smuts wins the first race, and the first race today at Vayalunga.
Well done, Steve Smart. As Ahmed Kuti comes in at number 2, with Aru Ravindra chasing him down at number 3. It has been a mixed bag for Oshan Kotaria, as he lost out multiple positions only to consolidate at number 4. Rishabh Banerjee brings home the car at number 5.
A brilliant battle from there, and we start to see these drivers all coming in, flashing the lights from Navneet Kumar. He respects, he got close, but not quite close enough today to Munjal, who picks up that 6th place overall. Great drive from Ryden Samravel in 9th. Also big drive from Siddharth Sathian here today, who finishes up with a top 10 finish, which is his first of the season. That will be something he will really be happy with.
Well, as I said, it's going to be a lot of learning, and I do like turn 9 all the way down to turn 12, because that gives us an opportunity to look at the cars a little more closely and the kind of lines that they go. This is a very interesting technical track, and that's why it brings in those kind of close-end races towards the finish line.
Absolutely, we are in the next few moments hopefully going to be getting some drivers in and ready for interview, but this is the classification of race results. Steve Smuts picks up 50 points with a race win and moves 6 closer to Amit Kuti. He's now only 84 points back, but he's still 1 race behind at this stage, with Ara Ravindra dropping to 20 points back now in the championship picture. Oshan Katadia will pick up 4th place, and it's 5th for Rishabh Banerjee. Munjal Savla gets 6th, and Navneet Kumar 7th, and Tej Patel in 8th place. Samravel 9th and Sathian in 10th, with Tula, Loda, Pawar, Budaraja and Abhimanyu Menon there making the top 15 in this race. But crucially, right now, we are able to get maybe a couple of drivers in for a bit of conversation at this stage. We'll start with the driver who finished in 4th place, Oshan Katadia, we found down at the paddock. He was pretty much lined up there waiting to talk to us. So Oshan, 4th place, that was up, down, all around, and you ended up being effectively quarter panelled near the end by one Mr. Ara Ravindra.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be. It is a racing incident, I guess. But yeah, it was worth a try, because I was just saving up energy to attack them, and it just presented itself. And yeah, I just wanted to attack it. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that offer.
Well, talking about offers, you also almost lost it out to somewhere down at number 5, and then finally made up to around Banerjee. So you would hope that you limit your damage today?
Yeah, I actually wanted to finish first. Like, I thought I had the pace, and somehow, I don't know, in the race, I just couldn't get that lap time. Again, like the consistency, I don't know why. Maybe just the first 2 laps, and after that I was fine. But by then I'd already lost 2 positions to Steve and Amit, unfortunately.
Well, it's a tough battle for you today, but you still managed to get yourself back into 4th position. It's going to be more racing tomorrow, and how difficult is it going to be knowing that you are pretty much in the same position that you were maybe last time you were racing in a reverse grid race when it came to the Nürburgring? Do you feel like you're going to have to do exactly the same job, make positions early, gain places, and then find yourself in maybe a position where you just hope that the other drivers get a little bit more stymied behind other drivers?
Yeah, I have to have the same strategy, like no other option. So I'll be going same like Nürburgring. So I have to try and make as many positions as possible before the other three contenders do. That's the strategy.
Well, the floor is yours, Roshan. Shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, just thank you to everyone who's organizing Volkswagen Motorsports, Rio Racing, and also to you guys. You're doing a tremendous job making this exciting for everyone who's spectating right now. Thank you.
No worries at all. Roshan Kathadia, 4th place overall. We are able to bring in the race victor, though, here today. That is Steve Smuts. Now, Steve, that opportunity presented it to you on a very nice shiny plate, and it said take first place because Amit Kuti and Ara Ravindra were too busy trying to play niceties here, trying not to get drive-through penalties or post-race penalties.
Yeah, definitely. I was a little bit lucky there. I knew I had good tire wear because I've been working on tire wear throughout the last couple of days, trying to get the car ready for the race. So all I had to do really was manage tires after that little incident. But yeah, you're right. They basically handed it to me on a plate.
Steve, when the last lap was coming through, you said possibly that I've done my work. VPN, stay strong. Were you praying that the VPN stays strong as well this time around?
Yeah, ping's not an issue when you're in first place away from everybody else. I think I was like 11 seconds up the road by the end of it. So I did all right. I did all right. I think the guys were struggling with their tires. That's probably what the issue was.
Let's talk cold conditions as well. It's not often that you get to race in a snowscape here on the outskirts of Rome. So, just how unnerving is it racing around a circuit when pretty much every marker point that you'd use naturally to try and find a braking point or a braking marker just looks white?
Yeah, I struggled with that in the beginning when I was first starting to drive Vallelunga. It's very, very sparse. There's no real other word for it. There's no reference points to. I end up using things way off the circuit to help me with that.
Well, the floor is yours, Steve. It's a big race victory. You bring the gap in the championship to the race leader down to 86 points, and the work's still continuing. Who gets it done for you?
Nobody to thank but myself and my family. My family continues to support me, and I continue to surprise myself.
And well, he is looking to try and make sure that he brings himself back into contention. Steve Smuts, a big, big victory here today. Second position would go to one Mr. Amit Kuti. And Amit, as the championship leader, qualifying in third position, it seemed like you had the most entertaining race of everyone today. You were up, you were down, you were all around. There was contact here, there, and everywhere. But through all of it, you somehow managed to still keep second.
She said it was the qualifying was so close, only like a tenth between us four. I just got the first lap in, and after that, I had in one of the laps I got blocked, and in one I just couldn't do another lap well. But still, credits to Aru and Oshan for doing that lap. And about the start, I think I got a pretty good start. And coming into that turn one, the right hander, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I was just probably going to play it safe, but I saw a gap opening up in Oshan. I think he was alongside me, and then at the last moment he backed out, so I just went for it. And after that, it was just I had quite good pace compared to Aro. He was making quite a lot of mistakes, and I think lap 5 or something, I'm not sure, but he made a few errors in the final sector, and I just had to go. I knew that it was very tough to overtake here, and I probably wouldn't get another opportunity like that. So I just used up all my curves and tried to go down the inside. Unfortunately, I think we were just a bit too close. I'm not sure what exactly happened. Might have been my fault, but I think it was it wasn't one of my best decisions, and this race probably wasn't one of my best as well. But still coming in home in second place, I think it's very good. I'm not sure if I'll get a penalty though.
Well, it was sensible that you decided to give the position back. So tomorrow you're going to be starting on the reverse grid. So Steve Smut and the fight between you have been pretty interesting. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like today, I think Steve was just phenomenal especially in his tire saving. The tire wear was like really bad in this track, so now that I know that, maybe tomorrow I can have a different mindset coming into the race.
How aggressive do you need to be in terms of a track like this? There's a lot of high-speed corners. It's a very fast and flowing opening sector, but then you get down to a tight and twisty final sector, which really does just really slow things down. And if things run into trouble, like happened to a couple of drivers behind on lap one, do you see around that 11 to 14 section being really treacherous lap one next race that you try?
Yeah, that's true, and I think it's just a matter of luck. It's going to be tomorrow, and it depends on how you can predict what's or anticipate what's going to happen in front of you. And as you said, that last few twisty corners are going to be very crucial, and there are going to be people diving in the inside of a lot of people. So especially in that really slow hairpin, I think turn 11 or something. I'm not sure, but uh, if you go the inside, the person on the outside can't do anything. So there's only one line through there. So it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, Ahmed, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
I'd like to thank Volkswagen Motorsport for making this opportunity for me and all of the other drivers, and also IRE Sports for coordinating with them and making this possible.
Well, that's no worries at all. Amit Kuti then comes away with second position and an increased lead in the championship heading to tomorrow's lot of racing. There's so much to come up on the horizon. The only place you can catch that is with Volkswagen Motorsports India and all of the work that has been put into perspective. We are going to maybe have the chance to bring one more driver in. It's Arrow Ravindra, who finished in third position. Now, Arrow, that was a tough race, starting on pole position as he's just moved away from us here just a little bit, making sure that everything's working. Arrow, do you have a copy of us, buddy? That is going to be a no. So I'm unfortunately going to say we're unable to get Ara Ravindra for us to talk to here today. But Solomon, this is going to be a very important telling race, those reverse grid races that we're going to be seeing tomorrow. And who is going to actually put themselves in the position where they can actually mastermind overtaking around a track which, quite honestly, has proven to be very difficult today to get by cleanly.
Jake, you were talking about aggression. I think I will use the word measured aggression. 50% risk, 50% aggression. They got to know, like, where Steve Smith was talking about the reference point in turn 9 all the way up to turn 12, which is your turn in. So I do believe and I hope that tomorrow you will have a much learned racer. So they will be able to, we'll be definitely be able to look at the cars more closely, but this is going to be very interesting because one, you already use today's experience for tomorrow.
Absolutely. And tomorrow is going to be a brand new day and a brand new race. Who can close down Amit Kuti in the championship? Ravindra had himself the biggest race of anybody today, and he knows that he has left something on the table as that championship gap extends to 20 points. Steve Smuts, though, he's picking it off one race at a time, and a victory here starts the road back to recovery. Will we see more of the same here tomorrow, or are we going to see someone new find themselves up on the top step of the podium? Only place you can catch is with us here. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in just about 22 hours' time.